To the phone line.
Charles in Oak Harbor, Ohio. Are you there?
Hey, how you doing, Russell?
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty good. I called your show before. I believe Matt and Tracy was on.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember. But anyway, I just wanted to call and give my thoughts on evolution and how they try to prove the existence of God using the Bible and science.
Okay. Now you know ahead of time that we don't believe anything in the Bible is particularly reliable. So if you prove something using the Bible, that might be convincing to you and your fellow Christians, but it won't mean a thing to us, right? You know that.
Oh, okay. Do you believe in science?
Yes.
Now, what are the things in the Bible match with science?
Really?
I'd be interested in that argument.
Like what?
Well, how about let's start with Genesis.
Okay. So do you think that plants existed before the sun did?
Do I believe that plants existed before the sun did?
Yeah, because that's the order of creation in Genesis.
No, I would assume so. Well, why wouldn't I?
Well, because then you're totally not agreeing with what science says.
Well, what to say? Now we're having an opposition because you're going with evolution. I'm going with creation.
Right,
No.
you're going against science, basically.
No,
You're going against the prevailing
no, see,
scientific understanding of where plants came from.
You're assuming that evolution is science.
And it is.
Yeah.
Okay. How is evolution testable?
You can't have it both ways. Either you're going to say that you're going to use science to support your position, in which case you need to accept what the prevailing scientific theory is, or you can say science is totally wrong.
Now, did you say what you just said?
Yeah?
Theory.
Do you know what the word theory means?
Yeah, it's a supposition, an idea.
No,
it's
it's not.
Intended to explain something.
It's
It's not a supposition.
Do you know what a theory is in science?
By theory, it is a supposition.
No, that's not what it means in science. In science,
What does a theory mean in science? I don't know how you can change
nobody's changing it. You don't have an understanding of what this means, and that's part of why you're having a problem here. A theory in science is a model.
Mm-hmm.
It's a model of how things work, of how a specific thing works. Okay, it's not a supposition or an educated guess or anything like that. It's a model that explains all the facts and is contradicted by none of them.
Right. Do me a favor. Are you near a computer?
No, sir.
Okay, let me just pick up the Wikipedia page on scientific theory. Not that Wikipedia is the ultimate authority, but it tends to be pretty good on the basics of science stuff. It says right now, a scientific theory is a well-substantiated explanation of some aspect of the natural world based on a body of facts that has been repeatedly confirmed through observation and experiment. So when I say theory, that's what I do.
Can you give me any example of evolution? Just give me an example of it.
Yeah. Fruit flies.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain the process to me?
Fruit flies have been demonstrated under laboratory conditions to split into two separate species. So that there are now two sets of fruit flies that can't interbreed with each other anymore. That's what evolution does. Over time, under selection pressure, you get branching different species, which eventually diverge farther and farther, so that you get what is initially common ancestors of mammals, and then they split up into like carnivores and primates and stuff.
So a change in species.
Yeah, speciation. Been demonstrated all over the place.
Do you follow Charles Darwin's teachings, or do you discredit them?
What?
Do you follow the teachings of? Have you ever read The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin?
Of course.
I have actually, yeah.
Do you follow his teachings, or
I don't know what you mean.
them?
I don't know what you mean by follow, because generally a scientific body of work has to be confirmed by a bunch of different people. It's not based on somebody handing down tablets.
Well, and you do know that since Charles Darwin wrote The Origin of Species, we've had a lot more information come to light in particular genetics. You realize that, right?
Right.
I wasn't aware of that. So.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that Darwin thought in The Origin of Species, like he did
I
a
can't
pretty...
hear you. I'm sorry.
We're echoing? Wait, is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff that Darwin thought about how evolution might work that turned out to be incorrect, and so science has actually moved on from the basics that were outlined in Origin of the Species. But the main point that all of life comes from a common ancestor and that it happens through natural processes is still the prevailing theory.
So you're saying we evolved over billions of years?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little problem with that.
Okay.
There's no proof of that. There is absolutely no, and I mean no recorded history.
Fruit flies.
Yeah, genetics.
No, I said people. I didn't
Right.
say
Yes,
animals. I said
genetics.
So wait, you agree that speciation happens? We're past that point, right?
people. In terms of what?
In terms of one
Do you mean
species,
changing into a more different form of the same species, or are you talking about just a different species altogether?
it's actually
Do you know-
a different species by the definition. Go
Yeah,
on.
Then
yeah.
no,
Do you
I
know
do
what
not believe that.
do you know what a species is? Do you know what that means?
Yes, I'm very aware of what a species.
Okay. Just checking.
Okay.
But again, there's no history of it. Where's the
Yes,
where's
there
the
is.
document?
Yes,
Where's
there
the
is.
recorded history of it?
Are you familiar with the genetic research that's been done on human chromosome 2?
No, I'm not.
Okay, you might want to read up on that because what human chromosome 2 demonstrates is that we actually did share a common ancestor with chimpanzees and bonobos.
What is that related to?
It's related to the fact that they have 24 pairs of chromosomes, we have 23, and the reason we have one less chromosome pair is because there were 2 chromosomes in the ancestor that fused, and that fusion occurred in human chromosome number 2. If you look that up, you will find that's true.
When was that experiment done?
Well, it wasn't an experiment. It was actually some genetic work, and it was published probably in the last, 5 years or so?
I don't know.
I think it's been published in the last 5 years.
Let me take this from a different angle, though. You believe in Noah's Ark, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you know that there are like millions of species of cockroaches, for example. Do you think that there were 2 of each kind of cockroach on the Ark, or do you think that that those split up? Or that there were like just a couple of cockroaches, and then they diverged into all the other forms of cockroaches that we have now.
I believe there was 2 of each, yes.
Okay, so there were millions and millions of different cockroaches on the Ark.
Well, okay, I think you're rephrasing that a little bit wrong. I don't really know what it is here. Can you be more specific?
Do you understand that there are different species of cockroach?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think there were 2 cockroaches on the Ark, or do you think there were 2 of every cockroach species?
I believe there was 2 of every cockroach.
Can you be more specific? Do you think there were 2 cockroaches total, or millions?
If you look in the book of Genesis,
Yeah.
there were the Lord gives the dimensions for the ark. They're 300 cubits long, 50
Right.
cubits wide,
Yeah.
Right.
and 30 cubits high.
Right. So how many cockroaches? Do you think that dogs and wolves are the same species?
No, sir.
So do you think that every breed of dog is one species? Like, do you think there were 2 Chihuahuas and 2 Great Danes on the Ark, or do you think there were just a couple of dogs?
Well, I I see the whole phrasing about. I don't understand what you're
I'm
trying
asking
to
you
ask.
this stuff because you're saying you don't even believe that speciation is possible, which is a weird position to take because even a lot of young Earth creationists agree that in order for the ark to make sense logistically, there must have been like a greatly reduced number of animals on the ark, which then very rapidly split up into a bunch of different species after they got off. Do you think they're wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are against Ken Ham and Kent Hovind and guys like that.
No. Ken Homer's a fascinating creation teacher.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure you're at odds with him. And so when you say that speciation is impossible, I think you better look up what he says about it.
I'm familiar with Kent Hovind's teachings.
Okay.
I'm
just
not-
saying. So you think there were two of every breed of dog, there were two of all the millions of kinds of cockroaches. There were
even if we presume that kind is synonyms with species, there are not even very many species of mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, whatever.
There are not very many species of mammals, reptiles, and birds?
No.
You're really wrong. And if you think that you
Do you
are...
know who Ernest Marr is?
What?
Ernest Marr. He's one of the leading systematic biologists.
Yeah, I think you're pronouncing it wrong, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he even gives the number of 17,000 allowing for two of these species on the ark.
What?
He even gives the number of at least 17,000 allowing for two of these species on the ark.
What is Ernst Mayr? I can't remember.
He's a Harvard biologist.
He's a systematic biologist.
And he
Sociobiologist.
outlines how the ark
works. At
works.
least 17,000 allowing for two of these species on the ark.
So you think...
Probably 7 of the what you guys like to call them, clean kinds of animals, plus the excrement.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, there are scientists that, do lead towards creation. So when you're getting the leading scientific investigation of evolution, there's actually very good scientists that discredit that whole theory.
No,
Wrong.
he doesn't discredit evolutionary theory at all.
Look, there are way more than 17,000 species of mammals and birds.
But assuming
now.
that's correct.
Okay.
Just for the sake of argument,
not,
assuming that there were only 17,000
Right.
pairs or whatever.
He's right.
But
I'm just using him as a reference.
let's entertain that for just a second. As a conservative number, let's say he's right. Do you think 17,000 animals could have fit on the ark?
Why couldn't it?
Because there's not enough room.
Well, they were on there for a year, right? I mean, there were just 8 people shoveling their poop overboard.
Yeah.
So
This ark could have been over 550 feet long, and you're telling me
for
yeah.
17,000 species.
Yeah.
I mean, 550 feet long is not that big.
But you got to look at the time it was in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, which is all the more reason to think they didn't have better poop shoveling technology than they've got now for 8 people to man.
Well, not only that, but you know that a wooden ship of 500 and something feet in length would not have been seaworthy. You know that, right? Because the longest wooden ship in history was a little short of that. I'll have to look it up, but I think it was somewhere around 490 feet long, and it had iron braces.
But, I mean, getting back to the original thing you were saying, I mean, you're saying that you are supported by science, and the only way that you can say this is to, like, throw out most of what science actually thinks. And, I mean, I can play that game, too. I can say that atheism is supported by the Bible, as long as I'm allowed to pick the verses that are part of the Bible and which part I don't care about.
The only problem, okay, I think I need to rephrase everything that I just said. There is no history prior to 4,000 BC.
There's no written history prior to 4,000
exactly.
BC.
That's what I'm saying.
Because people didn't write. So according to your idea,
So wait. You're telling me that all of a sudden, over billions and billions and billions of years, people just figure out how to write at this specific time? And we've evolved ever since then. That's what you're telling me.
No, writing was a technological advance that got spread out gradually. I mean, there are branches of science called anthropology where you can figure out stuff that's not written down. I mean, you go back through hieroglyphics and the Rosetta Stone, like God didn't hand down English all at once or something like that. Of course, you probably believe in the Tower of Babel, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And history is kind of proving you wrong, right? I don't know where you studied your history, but the history I've studied.
The history you've studied from Kent Hovind.
The 6 world powers. Are you familiar with those?
What?
Are you familiar with the 6 world powers that define our history?
Name them.
Yeah.
Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece, Rome.
Okay, what about it?
Yeah.
That's our history.
All right.
That is
Yes,
what the world's
those places
history is
exist.
clearly defined by.
Okay.
So where you're getting we evolved over billions and billions of years, it's not that there's no proof of it.
Humans haven't
We have
existed
proof
for
of this.
No, humans haven't existed
Yeah.
for billions of years. They've existed for a couple million.
Yeah.
So now it's a couple million. No one's changed it.
What?
And now it's a couple million. It only seems to change.
What? No, nothing's
Nobody
changed.
ever said that humans existed at the Big Bang. Where do you think they'd live?
Well, how long have according to you, how long have human beings been on this planet?
Things that were identifiable as humans may have been around about
How long
2
have
million,
human beings been on
2
this planet?
million years ago, approximately.
And where's your proof of it? That's what this all boils down to. I'm saying, where's the proof of this? It's easy to believe.
You need to look up the science, dude, because anthropologists have dug up stuff that's like that old, according to dating.
It doesn't. Okay. How come there's no writings? No
Because they couldn't write yet.
No words, no country.
Yeah.
Nothing.
How come there weren't any iPhones 3,000 years ago? Is this the kind of line of reasoning that you're going to go after?
No, I'm asking a simple question. I'm asking where's the proof?
Where's the proof? It's in
I
anthropology. It's in geology.
That is a fact. That's
Look,
irrefutable fact.
if you're not going to read the science, then I'm not going to give you a full remedial science class about how people figure stuff out right now.
I'm not understanding your position here. You're saying we've been here all these years, and I'm asking you to show me the proof.
Show it to you, have it in my hands right now?
No, where's your information? What can you cite to prove this? Without using some kind of item. Where's the recorded history of this?
There weren't recordings invented, dude.
Well, I mean, we've actually got
So
cave paintings.
Why is it more believable for that and not God? Why is it hard to believe that we were created at that time by God rather than we
Because
evolved
there's no evidence to support that, and there is evidence to support the
Yes, there
evolution of
is.
humans. No, there
I just
isn't.
gave you our world's history.
Really? Where are
Where's-
the recordings of Adam and Eve?
Yeah, where's the evidence of that?
In the Bible?
That was
And-
not written by Adam and Eve. They couldn't write yet.
Yeah.
No, the Bible was written by 40 different men.
Yeah, were any of them circa 6,000 years ago?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I mean, you're saying that nothing is reliable unless you've got a recording of it. So
That kind of helps. That's kind of
So-
what we distinguish truth from lying.
so by this argument, there was no Adam and Eve.
Yes, so, okay. If you want to, okay, so you're using the whole, just because the Bible says so, it's not true.
No, I'm using your argument. You're saying that there's no such thing as valid history unless there's a recording of it.
And we have recordings of things from Scripture.
And we have
We
fossils.
have guys a couple thousand years later writing down myths that they told each other. That's not evidence.
Are you using that as a reference towards the Bible?
Yeah.
Okay, you realize the Bible was written over a 1,500 time span.
Yeah, was any of it
So
written
so
by
that's
Adam and Eve?
irrelevant because they weren't sitting around each other. These men never even met each other.
Right. Was any of it written by Adam and Eve?
No.
Then they didn't exist, according to your argument.
You're not, so what
We're
you're
going to
saying
have
is
to wrap this up
just
soon.
because the Bible says it's not true. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
So what are you saying?
We're saying that you have not demonstrated that your claim is true, and your method of reasoning here is a little absurd, because by your
Right.
own argument, I can refute your claim that Adam and Eve existed.
Right. We're going to have to move on to other callers. You've already gotten like half the show. But, I mean, is there any last thing you want to say?
Yes, actually there is.
Okay.
You say that Adam and Eve didn't exist because there's no recorded history of it.
That was your
I'm
argument.
saying that that's how you're choosing to view history.
But I just gave you what our history is defined by.
Well, the Bible isn't it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling. Feel free to call again. It was fun.
Yeah.